Life has its hidden secrets. We often find ourselves caught up in struggles, setbacks, and challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But in the darkest times, there are moments of hope, resilience, and breakthroughs. This is the story of Mark Williams, a man who transformed his life from a humble factory worker to a tech entrepreneur. Along the way, he faced loss, heartbreak, and disappointment, yet he found a way to turn his pain into power. His journey will not only inspire you, but remind you that even in the face of adversity, dreams can come true. Mark Williams stood at the factory gates, the same gates he had walked through for the past 10 years. The noise of machines, the heat, and the smell of metal filled the air. Every day was a repetition of the last. Wake up early, work long hours, and go to sleep exhausted. He had always dreamed of something more. The work was hard, and although it paid the bills, Mark felt a deep longing for something different. A life where he could be in control. A life that would allow him to use his creativity. One day, as he was leaving work, he received a call that would change everything. His mother, who had been battling cancer for years, had passed away. Mark rushed to the hospital, his heart breaking with each step. He had always been close to his mother, and now she was gone. The grief was unbearable. Mark blamed himself for not spending more time with her in her final days, for not telling her how much he loved her enough. Her death left a deep emptiness in his heart, a wound that would take years to heal. At the funeral, as he sat in the back row, he felt the weight of regret crushing him. He thought about all the moments he could have shared with her, the conversations they never had. A tear fell from his eye, but he wiped it away quickly, afraid someone might see. He couldn't show weakness. Not now. Not in front of the world. But inside, he was falling apart. As the days passed, Mark's grief began to transform into something else. He started to remember what his mother used to say to him when he was a boy. If you want something, you have to fight for it. Those words echoed in his mind, and he realized that he couldn't let this pain define him. He needed to do something with his life, something that would honor her memory. That's when he made a decision that would change everything. Mark decided to learn about technology. He had always been fascinated by computers, but never had the chance to pursue it. Now he enrolled in online courses, learning everything he could about coding and software development. It wasn't easy, and there were times when he felt like giving up, especially when he struggled with complex algorithms, or when he failed to finish projects on time. But Mark kept pushing forward. There were moments when he felt isolated, like nobody understood what he was going through. His friends and family didn't see his dream. They couldn't understand why he was spending so much time on his computer, studying late into the night. Mark often felt alone, but he kept going, determined not to let his past define his future. Months passed, and Mark began to make progress. He created his first app, a simple task manager designed to help people stay organized. He didn't have much experience in design, so the app was basic, but it worked. He was proud of it. The next step was to put it out into the world. He launched the app, and to his surprise, people started downloading it. Slowly but surely, he started getting feedback from users, some positive, some constructive. With each piece of feedback, Mark learned. He made improvements, added new features, and polished his app. Then came a breakthrough. A tech startup noticed his app and offered him a job. Mark was ecstatic. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. But as he looked at his new office, surrounded by professionals, he couldn't help but feel like an imposter. He wasn't from a tech background. He wasn't one of these polished, educated people. He was just a factory worker who had taken a chance. But it didn't matter. Mark worked hard, proving himself with each project he completed. His ideas and drive set him apart, and soon he was promoted to a leadership position. He began to build a team, helping other young, hungry people like himself find success in tech. His story became an inspiration to many, a tale of resilience and grit. However, as Mark's career flourished, he realized that he was losing something else: his personal life. The long hours and constant pressure from work began to take a toll on his relationships. He found himself drifting apart from friends, missing important family events, and feeling disconnected from the world outside of work. He wasn't sure if he had made the right choice anymore. One night, after a particularly difficult day at the office, Mark sat alone in his apartment, staring at an old family photo of him and his mother. Tears welled up in his eyes. He had achieved his dream. But at what cost? Was it worth sacrificing everything for success? Then he remembered a promise he made to his mother. "I will never stop trying, no matter what." That was the moment he decided to change. Mark knew that while his career was important, so were the relationships he had neglected. He began to find a balance between his work and his personal life, making more time for his family and friends. It wasn't easy. There were still moments of loneliness and regret. Sometimes he would look at his old factory friends on social media and wonder if he had left them behind. He felt guilty for not staying in touch, for not being there when they needed him most. But as he worked on healing his past wounds, he found a sense of peace. Years later, Mark became a successful tech entrepreneur. His company grew rapidly, and he started hiring people from all walks of life, just like he had been. He understood what it was like to start from nothing and fight for success. His company became a beacon of hope for those who had struggled in life, showing them that anything was possible if they didn't give up. But even in his success, Mark knew that there would always be moments of vulnerability. There would always be regrets, moments where he wished he had done things differently. Yet he had learned to embrace those moments, to use them as fuel for growth. And in doing so, he found a sense of peace he had never thought possible. Looking back, Mark realized that the path from factory worker to tech entrepreneur wasn't just about achieving success. It was about learning to forgive himself, to heal from the pain of the past, and to keep moving forward, no matter what life threw his way. And as he stood at the podium, giving a speech to a room full of aspiring entrepreneurs, he couldn't help but smile. He had made it, not just in business, but in life. Mark's journey wasn't just about technology or business. It was about healing, growth, and finding peace with who he was. It was about turning pain into power and remembering that no matter how far we fall, we always have the ability to rise again.